Good afternoon, everyone. Are Christians allowed to wear jewelry? This includes watches, necklaces, rings, all of that stuff. Are Christians allowed to wear that? Let's let the Bible answer that for us. If we read in Matthew chapter 5, verse 13 to 14, it says, "Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt lost its savour, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast down and to be trodden under foot of men. Ye are the light of the world, a city that is set on a hill that cannot be hid." You, my friend, are a light of the world, meaning that the Bible is comparing you to the sun. The sun is the light of the world. The moon is also the light of the world. In the darkness, we have the moon lighting the world, and during the day, we have the sun to light the world. So you are compared to one of these by this Bible verse. It says, "Ye are the light of the world, a city that is set on a hill, cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." In chapter 16, when it says, "Let your light shine before men," is this referring to jewelry? No. It's referring to the light that you are as an individual, as a Christian, the light that you are. So adding other alternative lights to the light that you already are seems kind of weird for you to do. It seems as though the enemy wants you to add extra lights, knowing that you are already a light. The enemy wants you to be redundant with counterfeit lights like jewelry. This is why jewelry cannot be worn. Imagine if the sun had other lights surrounding it, because it just had other lights surrounding it. Because some people don't have a reason why they wear jewelry. They just wear it because it's there. Why not? Imagine if the sun also had other lights that it could put around it. It would be more weirder because it's already bright enough. You, my friend, are a light of the world, and you are already bright enough. Therefore, you are in no need of jewelry. We should always seek to do things that are necessary. Jewelry is not necessary for you to wear. You will not die without it. Clothing, on the other hand, is something that if you do not wear it, if you go to a cold place, you will ultimately die because you do not have enough clothing on yourself. Without clothing, you might not survive. But without jewelry, you are definitely going to survive. It's something unnecessary. We should always seek to do what is necessary. If God really wanted you to have jewelry on your body, He would have given you it from birth, that you should have jewelry. But instead, what does God say we should bind on our necks? Let's read in Proverbs chapter 3. It says, "My son, forget not my law, but let thy heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace, and shall they add to thee. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the tablet of thine heart." In Proverbs again, we read in chapter 6, verse 20, it says, "My son, keep thy father's commandments, and forsake not the law of thy mother. Bind them continually in thine heart, and tie them about thy neck." These are the things which we should tie and bind on our necks. Not some jewelry, not some silver, not some gold. In the Bible, in 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 9, it says, "In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broidered hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array." You know, Every single time you do something, you should always seek to glorify God in it. Just as 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 31 says, everything that you do. So when you wear jewelry, question yourself, am I glorifying God with this? Like I've already told you, that you are already a light and that light is sufficient. So you do not need other counterfeit lights around you to make that light extra bright. That light is already natural because you are a Christian. So you do not need other extra lights on your body. You do not need to do something that is unnecessary like jewelry. So you should question yourself, am I glorifying God when I wear jewelry? No, you're not. Why do I say this? Jewelry is something that is embraced by the queen or the harlot in Revelation chapter 17 verse 4. And it says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. So question yourself, are you really going to follow the example of a harlot or a whore spoken about in Revelation chapter 17? You can read it yourself. Are you going to follow her example and wear jewelry like she has? Because I can tell you for sure, if you're a Christian, what you're seeking to do, your goal in Christianity, is to follow Christ and to be more Christ-like. So question yourself, was Jesus Christ pierced on the ear? Was he pierced on the ear? Was he wearing jewelry? He says himself in Proverbs, this was him speaking, not King Solomon. This was Jesus Christ speaking. He said, my son, keep thy father's commandments and forsake not the law of thy mother. Bind them continually upon thine heart and tie them upon thy head, thy neck. Even in Proverbs chapter 3, he said it again. He said, my son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the tablet of thine heart. This was Jesus Christ speaking in the Old Testament through King Solomon, saying these are the types of things we are to bind on our necks. So question yourself, when Jesus was walking on this earth, was he really wearing jewelry? Of course not, because he knew that he was the light of this world, just as you are. A sun does not need other lights emitting from it or illuminating from it, because the light it already has is sufficient and enough. And if we read in Isaiah chapter 3, it speaks about the judgment that's going to come upon the woman. Okay, it says in Isaiah chapter 3 verse 16, it says, moreover the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet, therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of their head, of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. In the day the Lord will take away their bravery, the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet and about their cords, and their round tires like the moon, the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers and the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings and the rings and the nose jewels and the chargeable suits of apparel and the mantles and the wimples and the crisping pins, the glasses and the fine linen and the hood and the veils. And it shall come to pass, instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink, and instead of girdle, a rent, and instead of well set hair, boldness, and instead of stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. This is the judgment that's going to come upon these women who happen to have been wearing jewelry. This was their ornaments. You see that? So the Bible makes it very clear that it does not want jewelry. It does not want jewelry. It's not only in Timothy that it says this, even in Peter. Okay, in 1 Peter chapter 3, it says, who, while behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear, whose adorning, let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair, and of wearing gold, or putting on of apparel, but let it be of the hidden man of the heart, in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which in the sight of God is of a great price. Let what it says, let it be of the hidden man of the heart, in that which is not corruptible. Jewelry, all these things, the chains, all of them, they rust. Believe it or not, they rust. Jewelry rusts. It's unlike the inner man, which is not corruptible. Just as in Matthew, forgot what verse it was, where Jesus said, set not your treasures on earth, where moth, rust doth corrupt, and where thieves can break in and steal. When you set your treasures here on earth, when you set them on earth, those treasures include jewelry. Okay? When you think about treasure, you think about jewelry, money, all those things. Those are treasures. And moth, rust can corrupt them. But this here says, but let it be the hidden man of the heart, in that which is not corruptible, unlike jewelry, which moth and rust can corrupt, which is a treasure of this earth. Okay, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God a great price. So we should seek to be a light of the world. Okay, we are called as the light of the world. So a light of the world does not need other lights, especially knowing that those lights are corruptible. Moth, rust can corrupt them. But the treasures in heaven, we should seek to set them in heaven, where moth, rust doth not corrupt, and where thieves do not break in and steal. This is why we shouldn't wear jewelry. Simple enough. This is why we shouldn't wear jewelry. It is a treasure of this earth. Okay? You are already a light of the world, and that light is sufficient enough to brighten the world. You do not need other alternative lights on your body, counterfeit lights that don't shine as bright as you, because you are the light of the world. Do you know how bright the sun is? If you go outside right now and look at the sun, it's so bright. That's what you are called, a light of this world. So that light does not need other lights. They are unnecessary. You should always seek to be intentional and necessary with everything that you do. In all that you do, you should always glorify God. And think about it. The money that you spend on jewelry, which is expensive, which is a lot of money, quite a lot of money, you could use it to spend it on something that is worthwhile. You could donate that money to an orphanage. You could give to the poor. You could buy food in your home. You could do so many things. But yet people choose to buy jewelry that's going to be ultimately corrupted. Okay? And Isaiah chapter 3 clearly shows us that the jewelry in chapter 3 verse 16 and downwards shows us that this jewelry is of this earth, and it's not eternal. No, it's not eternal. Okay? So we should not seek to wear things that are unnecessary. You could use that money for something good, like I said. So why waste that money to buy something like jewelry, which is a treasure of this earth, where moth rust and where moth rust can corrupt and thieves can break in and steal? We should spend money wisely, and whether that jewelry is cheap or not, it does not matter. Whether it's cheap or not, the fact is, it is jewelry and it emits light, counterfeit light, to someone who already holds enough light. We should use common sense, folks, and be necessary on how we adorn ourselves. Okay? The light that we have is already enough. We should be modest as possible. And come to think about it. Wait, this is the last point I want to bring up. The world embraces jewelry so much, if you think about it. It embraces jewelry so much. If you check the rappers, the people who are usually loud mouths, and a loud lifestyle, lavish or whatever, they usually wear jewelry and show off their chains, their watches. So, are we really going to follow after the example of the world when the Bible tells us in Romans chapter 12, verse 2, that we should not be conformed to the patterns of this world, or be not conformed to this world, but be renewed, but be transformed by the renewing of our minds. So we should seek to follow Christ. And I'm definitely sure that Jesus Christ did not wear jewelry. You could argue all you want. I can't imagine Jesus Christ with a piercing on his neck. When I think about him, I cannot imagine him. And I can tell you for sure, he did not wear jewelry. And we should seek to follow his example, because he did things that were intentional and that were necessary. People wear jewelry to what? To get some people's attention. Not everyone, like I said. But if you're not that person that wears jewelry to not get people's attention, why are you wearing it? Because it's simply unnecessary for you to wear it. You, like I said, are already a light of the world, and that light should shine for the world, and it is already sufficient and enough. Thank you for watching.